So picture this. I record them videos last week. I then go away with my friends to Portugal. We're sitting there on the balcony. We're drinking. We're having a good time. My phone's on charge. And then my mate looks at his phone and says they have sacked Ange SACKED. What in the world am I going to do with that information then? And this video is going to be a bit of a discussion about all of my thoughts and feelings surrounding him, the ownership, Thomas Frank coming in. So, if that's what you're after, stick around. Also, I do want to say that I'd make videos on TikTok as well. So I know the people that have come here probably come from TikTok, but if you haven't, please go and drop me a follow there. I will flash up my profile here, and then you can go and follow. But the app you need is SIPSPURS, SIPSPURS. Trying to grow both platforms, so would really appreciate any support on either. So, the big question that now sits with me when it comes to the board and the general direction of Tottenham is where are we going for? What are we aiming for? And to put it into perspective, I've seen us finish in a vast number of positions throughout my whole life. Some good, some bad. But when we finished well, it was, what did you win though? Every time. Didn't matter what happened, didn't matter the context behind it, didn't matter how close we got. All we ever got was, what did you win though? Every player we rated, no, can't be rated, didn't win anything. So now, I know the league form wasn't good, but we won it. Do you know what I mean? The gamble that Ange took paid off, and it does baffle me, because people are forgetting and leaving out that the context that matters to them, and I get that that's football discourse, that's always going to happen, but I mean, Ange went into this season having signed Dominic Solanke and two teenagers, who I think we gave the most minutes in the Premier League to academy kids, and as good as they've all been, or not academy kids, but under 21s. That wasn't through choice. We had Archie Gray playing centre back for what felt like 3-4 months, and it's crazy to me that the people don't sort of take that into consideration. I think a lot of us were ready to see Ange leave if we didn't win, and we'd made our peace with it. But I also think that a lot of us post the final realised that what he said happened, and them players were doing it for him, and no one can deny that. Have you ever seen so many player messages come out? I mean, all of them, paragraph after paragraph. I mean, Basuma, so take this as an example of what an incredible connection Ange SACKED had with our players. Basuma was suspended for 2 games or 1 game internally for the balloons incident. And he has not stopped posting stuff about Ange. He even posted their WhatsApp conversation and the chats they're having. Even when he's dropped Basuma this year, he still was a connection enough to be posting the stuff that he does. And I do seriously worry that by doing this, a lot of the heart and soul of that team has been damaged. Now, football isn't as romantic as we like to think it is, really. If we think realistically, players cared about how much they're getting paid and how much they're playing. And I have no doubt that when Thomas Frank does eventually come in, they'll get behind him, they'll back him, and it'll just be another manager in their life. Do you know what I mean? I'm not doubting that. But you can see the personal connection that SACKED had with these players. I think it's so hard to get in football, especially with a fan base like ours that have been longing for something for so long, and then we finally do it, and then we still sack the manager. It is just a little bit, well, not a little bit baffling. It's really baffling to me. What are people's targets in the future now? Because if Ange SACKED got 6th and we went out in the quarters or semis, would he be getting sacked? I'd probably say no. But because we literally from January onwards were making 8-9 changes a game, and we sacked off the Premier League, and I know that squad should be enough, but with how injury prone people were getting, risks couldn't be taken across the board, even for the likes of Ben Davies, who were playing parts, but if they then got injured, we were even more in trouble if Romero and Van de Ven got injured. Do you know what I mean? So you could say, obviously, there's nothing, no stats or anything to back this up, but I don't think that anyone was, really, really giving 100% at all times. Yeah, if that's a fault on the manager, then I don't know what to say. These players are going to protect themselves, especially when everyone had a chance of being involved in that final. I don't think that's a crazy take to say. Now, with this, we are now probably going to lose Romero this summer. It's been heavily rumoured that his future tied in with Ange's. If Ange goes, he goes. If he stays, he stays. And, I mean, Tottenham have always been a selling club. We're always going to be a selling club until, I don't know, I get a genie that grants 3 wishes and we win the quadruple 9 years in a row. Do you know what I mean? Romero is the calibre of player that we need to be keeping and building around. It's just going to be nonsensical. And I loved Kevin Danso as much as the next guy. I think he's been an excellent addition since he's come in. He is not Romero's replacement. I can't see that. And maybe in time with, frequent game time around the players that he's with, that could be different. That's probably a little bit harsh. I retract that. I'm taking that back. I won't edit it out, but just stick with me. It's just how highly I rate Romero, and how worried I am if he is to leave us, because he is good. People described him as a hothead and this, that, and the other, but his discipline record this year has been very, very good, and he's matured massively in the big games when we needed him. So now we just sit and wait and find out what's going to happen with our summer, because obviously we couldn't make any signings before the manager was sorted, because you don't know if the manager's going to want them. So we'll have to see what Thomas Frank's shopping list is when he comes in. Talks about us hijacking the Mbeumo deal. I don't think that's really going to happen. We don't match wages with United ever. For as long as I live, that'll probably never be the case. But it is an absolutely monumental summer now, and we need to get targets in early and get them bedded in quickly, because we cannot be a week or two away from the season starting and we're still monitoring, keeping tabs on, interested in. It's not going to work. It cannot be that way. And I will get into the board a little bit further on in this video. I need to talk about Thomas Frank first. Now, I want to preface this by saying I support Tottenham, okay? I've seen managers I love leave, and, Ange is now cemented. The one good thing that comes out of it is Ange now gets to leave on a high. Do you know what I mean? He doesn't go till December, it sours, and then people are trying to discredit him for the final. That can't happen now. He goes down as one of our best and the man that made it happen. So I hope, in a few years' time, when there's not so much emotion around it, we can just appreciate him for what he did for us. Because the man made us all believe, and he then led us to do it. Do you know what I mean? He didn't just get us to the final, we went out without a whimper. No, we went and we beat Man United in the European final, and that can never be understated. Don't even try it. So I want to start this by saying I support Tottenham Hotspur, right? And I've seen so many people on Twitter saying, "Oh, that's me done." Blah. No, unfortunately not. That's not how it goes. I'll keep tabs on Ange and where he goes and whatnot, and I'll be happy when he does well. But now Thomas Frank's coming in. Thomas Frank is our manager, and we get behind him. But with that being said, I do have some concerns on what a jump this is going to be for Thomas Frank. Now, don't get me wrong, he's done very well at Brentford on a shoestring budget, which is probably why he was our number one choice, because it wouldn't surprise me if the board looked at his points per wages, do you know what I mean, and thought, yes, you're the man to, extract maximum from very little. So, I mean, I think we're all praying that is not the case, but unfortunately we all know this club and how it's run. But he was at Brentford for 7 years. Now, I don't think he's going to probably get a fraction of that. The culture and the the dressing room that he's been able to build has been built over time. And we, as a club, keep saying we want to do the project, we want to do the rebuild. It gets tougher season in, and we just rip it up and start again. We hate Arsenal, but Arteta finished 8th twice, then 5th after bottling top 4 within the last 3 weeks, and now they've been second the last 2 years because they believed in him, because they've backed him. Not as much as Arsenal fans would probably want, but you know what I mean. And I am confused about what this club wants and where it wants to go, because we want the trophies, we want the big names, but the wages we're offering are subpar in 9 out of 10 cases. You think, Van de Ven should be on 150 plus a week. I think he's probably on 50. Do you know what I mean? And there's gonna be bonuses and things tied in, but that's not how a big team operates. When Kvaratskhelia was leaving Napoli in January, is there ever a point where you think, oh yeah, we're gonna go for that? No. Like, I think we managed to beat Bayern to signing Dragusin, but I mean, if they wanted him really badly, they would have got him. Do you know what I mean? And this club, it just has the feelings that we're posers. Do you know what I mean? We pose as, you know, we're gonna challenge and do this, and then we just don't. We never really go and make statement signs, if you think about it. And nothing's gonna change with this current ownership. Unfortunately, that's just the way it is. I know there's a lot of rumours floating about now. I don't really want to speculate because, you know, there's not a lot concrete is coming out. But in terms of Thomas Frank and, you know, the time he was afforded to build what he did at Brentford, I don't think he's going to get. And what happens if next season we finish 10th? Do you know what I mean? And then you're going to have people saying, well, Ange finished 17th but won us the Europa League. Do you know what I mean? Daniel Levy has now set himself up to fall on his own sword every time now, because no one really knows what the success we're looking for is. Because we've been told it's all about trophies, and now suddenly we get the trophy, and no, we have to get top 4, even though winning that trophy does the exact same as the top 4. What are the standards that we are now holding managers and players to? Because I don't know what it is anymore, because we've done it both ways now, and we've still ended up with our manager getting sacked. It's ridiculous. But with Thomas Frank, is it a case of he's just a stable pair of hands, really? We'll, you know, get a couple of long runs in cups and we'll be around the top 6 and that's fine. Do you know what I mean? Like, is he really going to be the one to take us to the next level? We don't even know how he's going to manage the Champions League. He's never had to play 3 times a week with Brentford. It's probably a lot easier if you're not flying to wherever we're going to be flying for the Champions League every week. I'm no Brentford expert or watcher, but I think his only European experience has been qualifiers for things, and I don't know how. From the board's perspective, you look at him and go, "Oh no, he'll be able to manage," because there's so little evidence of it. And again, this is not on Thomas Frank. Like I said, I'll get behind him, I'll back him, he'll probably win me over within weeks. But I think my anger and frustration is just mainly at the board, because what are we trying to do here? Because do you know what I mean? Like I don't know what the point of this is anymore. We played nice football. We were told it was trophies. We win a trophy. We didn't do well enough in the league, despite everything pointing to us wanting to do everything for that final. I don't get it. But what I do know is this man needs to be backed this summer. And I'm not talking about a 17-year-old FM wonder kid that we found, that we then have to send back on loan. Like, we need experienced players to come in and spearhead wherever this club is now going. I mean, it's not looking good already. I love Ben Davies, but the decision to extend his contract another year, unless it's going to be to extract a fee, is a worrying one. That is a spot we need to be bolstering with some serious talent. I love Ben Davies, been a very, very good servant for this club, but he's not, the level that we need. And by extending his contract another year, you're just taking up another space in the Champions League squad. And it's just going to be the same old story, and that's the real worry. We're going to watch all of our rivals strengthen. I mean, everyone's doing business pretty much, and if they're not doing business, they're close, or we are barely touching the surface when it comes to transfers. Apparently, some RCK said that Leroy Sané was a done deal 2 weeks ago. Turns out bloke doesn't even want to play for us. I don't know. I'm just a little bit deflated. How I waited all that time for the trophy, and we couldn't even enjoy it for more than 2 weeks before we're right back into a stage 1 of a rebuild again. But look, Thomas Frank is going to be the manager. I'm recording this at 9:45. Probably going to schedule it to go up in the morning when he is manager, so just pretend that this is a live reaction. But Thomas Frank is the manager. All aboard Thomas the Tank Engine. Choo choo. Maybe I'll cut that bit out. But yeah, so let me know your thoughts. I do really try and reply to every single comment. So let me know your thoughts. Please support the channel if you can in any way. Like and subscribe, and it's all free. Doesn't cost you a penny. Just means you get to see my face a little bit more. So would really appreciate it. Once again, this is my TikTok page. If you can go and drop a follow on there as well, would really appreciate it. And we'll see what we're talking about next week. I'll see you when I'm looking at you.